Alright everybody, what's up? This is the Warp Storm. I'm a Master Tier player. I'm here to review Haze's VOD today. I've already done this once, but I saved the video to the wrong file type, so this is not going to be my first time watching the game. Hopefully I'll have better insight this time around, at the very least. I'm going to skip through this little dialogue at the beginning. It is good that you're talking, though. You guys have a little nice little friendly atmosphere going. Except for this guy who wants to play Genji all game. Even that's not bad, though. So you open up with this right click, which is good. You just want to use that at Reinhardt's shield like off cooldown pretty much all the time, unless you think you're gonna get dived or in specific situations. But what you don't do here as you're kind of running around is you could get a lot of free damage off on the range shield right now at really no risk to yourself. And I don't even mean like sticking around to shoot. I mean that while you run up, you shoot his shield, and then you, like right there, you could have just been shooting a lot. Well, not a lot, but you could have gotten a few shots off, which does add up into damage on the Reinhardt shield. You miss that right click. Don't try and get those mid-air shots. Try and like hit them when they're shoot at the ground that they're going to land on, sort of, if that makes sense. As we'll see here, you have a very nice outplay on this soldier. Soon, TM? Yeah, he walks into your thing, and then you just, ooh, yeah, a couple of really nice headshots. It was good. Again, you choose the right place. Now, I didn't make as big of a deal about this as I should have last time, but that Bastion is right there, really alone. Yes, he's got Mercy pocketing him, but you need to target one of them or the other, because what's happening right now when you're about to go up these stairs is he is just pouring damage into either your Reinhardt or his shield. And as we will see, by the time you get up here, your Reinhardt is dead. Which kind of stalls your push out. And now this is really good positioning for you. You like have an unadulterated view of their back. But I mean, your Orisa's now died to that Bastion. You gotta point out that that's where the Bastion is, too. I don't know if they know that. You can just keep updating them on the positioning of the Bastion so it doesn't come and surprise them. You shouldn't be using your right click on these turrets. You can just left click the turrets and they'll die. Yeah, that's all I can say there. Sometimes, if you need to destroy like 2 or 3 at once, it can be worth it to right click, but otherwise just fucking drag your cursor up or down. Now, it seems like you're bursting, so that's good. There you're not bursting at all. Try and burst more. Don't jump off the high ground like that, because... let me finish that bursting point first. Just make sure to burst. Your aim needs, of course, a little bit of work. That comes kind of with practice. It also comes with, I think you're very, if not nervous, kind of... You gotta be calm. You gotta be peaceful. You gotta be confident in your ability to just move your cursor to their face, Especially with Soldier. Just get it on there, shoot him a couple times, readjust, shoot him a couple more times. Take it slow, take it simple. It's nice and peaceful. But now you can kind of see, with my other point, you can see pretty much everyone but Mercy. So there's no real reason to be jumping off this ledge. You can just stay here and provide an enormous amount of pressure. I mean, Soldier's really good at just applying fire that, like, when you get hit by Soldier clips, you're very aware. You know you're getting shot at by Soldier. He's just a big nuisance as well as like a huge damage output. But that was nice. That was nice. Now instead of focusing that, you could have just focused that sim down. Instead, you kind of, which you could have done instead of running up here while your team's dying. If it might have been worth it if you had instead turned left and gone back kind of behind him where I think the Mercy was hiding. If you'd killed Mercy, then, you know, that could be pretty good. But, and this is not a bad positioning either. You've chosen Bastion, that's a good target. He's getting healed by Mercy though, so not much you can do. It's good to walk away. Yeah, you can just left click those again. And you keep moving back to cover really fast. Like, you have a fair bit of leeway here. They don't have anyone that can jump up and kill you. So long as Bastion is not looking at you at any particular time, you're probably going to be fine to just kind of stand on the edge and just shoot all over them. If they run up to try to get you, you just sprint further up here, or maybe up into this window. And yeah, you can play a little bit more aggressive, apply a little bit more pressure than you're currently applying. That's good. That's good. And see, like, you're going... And this is a really good nano boost. It's good. It's good team coordination by your Ana. Don't be afraid to ask for it too. But I think, and hear me out. Yes, there is no one on point, and you do want to go and kind of like... I see what you're trying to do. You want to go up, you want to clean the kills, you got the nano boost, you don't want it to be wasted. But if you're in this position right now and you can't see anyone, then de facto, no one is on the point. Just stay there, keep the high ground, let your team come up, and then you won't die to this Bastion like you're about to. Like, technically you died to Soldier, but you put yourself into a bad positioning there. You could have... Whoa. I didn't notice that last time. Don't... it doesn't really matter, because it's just a game. But it's probably better if you don't change your sensitivity mid-match. It's best to just, you know... maybe do that after the game and the training round. Just find the sensitivity you find most comfortable to you and practice with that. And then don't change off that. It'll mess up your muscle memory. It'll do all kinds of wonky shit. One thing I want to mention right now is just that you should be looking for the high ground right now, or at least if you're not going on the high ground, staying farther back. You've got like 30 meters you can stick at. And the flank can work. Like, flanking Soldier 76 is not a bad strat in that situation. Like, right there, you just kind of run out and shoot one people. But you have to be able to, like, burst them down with your right click. Otherwise, it's just kind of risk for no reward. Now, you don't die here somehow. Very lucky. Very lucky. Now... you're kind of, again, holding this choke area, but you would be better served by running up to the high ground. Because even say, just by the nature of the fact of your team being in two places, but you being sort of unreachable by any of their heroes, it presents to them a choice. They can either aim at you and try and shoot at you to keep you from just dumping bullets into them, or they can fight your team. And now, Soldier 76, if you're making them choose to fight you, that's a good thing, because you'll probably survive. You have your biotic field up in that particular high ground we're talking about with a small health pack. There's a decent bit of cover in regards to the point. Like, it doesn't have a huge vantage point, and you can turn around and sprint back to that health pack and be fine. So yeah, make them make the choice. You're not bursting there. Bursting is really helpful. You could have just... I mean, it works. That worked. But it only worked because they didn't decide to just all turn and like murder you at one point in time, you know? Or maybe it didn't. Maybe am I reading that wrong? Let me go look at that again before I sell you some snake oil, dog. Cause I don't even remember that Reinhardt. Your Reinhardt's alt in this. I'm gonna watch it from the soldier's perspective real quick. Alright, so your Reinhardt doesn't hammer down anything. But it doesn't matter, you guys pushed in pretty nice at the same time. And as I recall, a Mercy shows up. Kind of wins them this first defense. If you're gonna flank at the very least, try and get Mercy. Not a ton, I think, that could have really been done there. In that specific moment, like by the time you'd gotten there, there was nothing to really do about that, but... And then there's one of the downsides to double hit scan against Mercy, especially if neither of you are gonna go flank and kill her. She's gonna get some reses off. Just gonna skip this. You guys have a decent team comp. Do a little finagling and get it done. Let's get past this. Alright, yeah, now so you take good positioning. The only time you really don't want to take this positioning is if they have a widow. So if you stand at like halfway through that doorway that you see right now and that pillar, where like half of you is out and you can still kind of see, that's probably the best place to start this positioning out on the round, just because if you don't know if they have a widow or not. If they do have a widow, just get your team to stand like right there in between this little statue circle thing and this building, and then stand over to your right on the high ground behind the phone box. That's like the best place to hold if they have a widow. I love your Reaper's positioning, dude. You don't see that very often, but he just kills the Pharah straight out the fucking gate. That was... yeah, this is good. I also like this positioning. Gives you, gives you good angles on all the important stuff. Now, two things. Two real important things, again. When you're shooting here, at this range, you really gotta burst. You're shooting it for, like, a few shots at a time. Just try and keep it to 3, maybe 4, if you're really feeling lucky. Now, when Pharah's coming up to fight you, you kind of walk into that rocket. That's not bad, though. You can still turn it around if you had gone right. You have an ally over to your right. I don't know who it was. I didn't get a time to see. But all you do is put yourself into this little cubby, and that's kind of where Pharah's going to do really well, because she has range and explosives, so she doesn't need to even shoot you in this scenario. She can just shoot the ground a bunch, and as long as you're not consistently hitting her, she'll win that one. Now, I like this Zarya change. Sort of. I've seen this already, so if the Pharah had decided to play a little bit safer, maybe, a little bit higher up, maybe even a little bit farther back, this may not have worked as well for you. Because the only reason you're able to kill the Pharah as many times as you do, which you acknowledge yourself, I'll admit, is because she just decides to sit sub-stratosphere, and that's not cool for her and her team. But you're kind of doing the DPS job right now by being up with your Ana, which is not a bad thing to do. But you really got to be looking for, yeah, those right clicks on Zarya. This is good, walking up to kind of create space for your Reaper as he runs away. You got to get a little bit more familiar with Zarya's damage range. You also, you're like, as you're trying to run to take positioning behind this car, right? But so what you do is you turn and you look where you want to go. But you kind of already know where you want to go. Just keep your cursor on Winston. He doesn't have bubble. and just keep dealing damage to him. And you get the soldier here, I recall. No, right. You let Symmetra do it. Good. That's a good thing to do. Let your team go and do it instead of leaving the front line. Trusting your teammates is the way to go. It may not always work out, but it is the habit you want to have. Yeah, and that was a good right click. It hit her, but I will say in the future, just have your natural inclination to adjust this as a Zarya be to find her in left clicker, just because you'll, especially with the charge you're having, you had like 45 charge, you'll just delete her a lot quicker that way. I want to say maybe finish off with the right click or whatever. If my math is wrong on that, someone let me know. I'd love to know, actually. Good. You got her. Now you shield behind the barrier. A little nitpicky, but you shouldn't really be shielding behind Reinhardt barrier like that. You could have saved it right now, had like another 40 or 50 charge again right now instead of 20 or 50, or 20 or 25. The best way I found to do that is to kind of take a little bit of damage first on bubbles, so maybe make them attack you. Maybe at this rank, people will attack bubbles, but I find that people at low ranks are not often as brain dead as they are made out to be, or as unskilled. It's just these little things, you know? Kind of add up. And again, you're playing pretty good, except for small to large mechanical issues on Soldier 76. You're playing pretty good. You're not dying a ton. Your positioning is pretty legit. It's just these little things that you don't have to fix all of them, but if you fix enough of them, they will help you climb. They'll just they'll cause you to win games that you wouldn't have otherwise won. Just as a kind of general thing for Zarya, you gotta get more energy. Because energy is great. Everyone knows that. But you gotta get more energy so you can right-click harder so you can get a faster ult charge. Something I should have looked at is seeing when you switched. I was curious about that last time I looked through to see how long it took you to build this ult. But you can build decently quick ults as Zarya as long as you're not wasting your bubble. And this is a pretty good graviton. Like, it gets the two most important people on the point right now. The Lucio and the Soldier. The Soldier's making, actually, I'd like to point out, the same mistake you did last round, which is where he's not on the high ground. Like, when he was on the high ground earlier, you couldn't really do anything about him. But now that he's on the low ground, like you were earlier, you as the tank are just able to kind of shit all over him and really not let him get much done. Just to keep that in mind for your own Soldier play. Another small thing is it sometimes seems like you're not very efficient or consistent with your cursor. Like a lot of times your cursor's in places not really doing anything. Like, you're not shooting anything, but you're not looking to go somewhere, but you're not... like, you're kind of just putting it somewhere for no reason. And theoretically, you want to be the most efficient with all your moves as possible. You always want something to have a reason. But otherwise, man, that was pretty good. It was a good to draw out. Boom, there you go. So remember that for Farah. Don't play hella low against Zarya if you ever do. Other than that, man, this is a pretty good game. Just a few minor things to work on. Your positioning is pretty good. I hope to see you climb, man.